Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of One Pod Life. Now this week's guest is Gary Boyd. Now he's had a pretty illustrious career so far, starting back in 2007, but we're going to talk about and give him an overview of what he's been doing. But he got to the top of 116th in the world at one point, but we mainly talk about how he yo-yoed back and forth on the tours and how he overcame a possible career-ending injury. So without further ado, please welcome Gary Boyd. So I was going to start with a brief overview, really. I did some research. I noticed that you turned professional in 2007. You've managed to play 136 tournaments on the European Tour, 101 tournaments on the Challenge Tour, and your best world ranking was actually 116th in the world. So what I was going to ask you was, how would you sum up your career to date in one sentence?
One sentence. It's been a good career, but a career that's not finished yet.
No, okay, that's what I like to hear. Good stuff. Okay, so let's go back to, like I said, you turned professional in 2007. So how did your golfing career actually start? And then what sort of influences did you have growing up?
So my dad got me into playing when I was 7 years old. He took me to the golf course. He took me out just playing with him, really. He took up the game quite late. Okay. He still actually plays now. And I basically just love the game, really. I played a lot of other sports as well. I actually started left-handed because he was left-handed.
All right, okay.
And then basically as soon as I had lessons, they said that I should be I'm right-handed, the way I grip it and all that stuff. So it kind of went from there, really. And then just went up there, enjoyed practicing, playing. And then I managed to win the English Golf Union gold medal when I was 11.
All right, okay, well done.
Was basically a competition that I qualified for through my home club, shooting the lowest score within the county, and everyone obviously went to there, and I managed to win that. So I kind of got a little bit of publicity then. And then got into the EGU setup when I was almost 13.
Okay.
And then obviously played international level from, I think it was when I was 15 up until I was kind of 21 in the boys and men's team.
Right, okay. And whereabouts does that sort of take you then from that level up from 11 to sort of 21?
Just obviously improving my game really all the way through the EGU setup. We had coaching obviously every couple of months. I played a lot of cricket at the time as well, captain level. And it basically got to the age of 16 when I thought, what am I going to do? Am I going to carry on with cricket or golf? And obviously golf was the choice that I chose. I was very close to going to the States for university. Right. Chose to stay in England and enjoy the cold weather in the winter.
You're crazy. Why didn't you go to America?
Yeah, no, it was a bit of a stupid idea in the end, wasn't it?
What was the reasoning behind that?
Basically, I've done a brainstorm on where I wanted my career to go to, what was the best progress for me personally. Okay. There is no right or wrong way of doing it.
Of course.
I was never a massive fan of school as such. Right. Obviously, I attended it as much as I could do. But obviously golf took over a little bit growing up. But I just wanted to play golf. That was all I wanted to do, really. So,
right, okay.
Obviously, I was very lucky that I was in the England Golf Union setup, which then took me to places to compete in big tournaments like the Jones Cups, Australian Amateurs, all those kind of things. So, that was kind of my choice, really, and it kind of outweighed me going to America.
No, good stuff. Well, I guess obviously if you did go over to America, obviously it is 50-50 sort of golf and school, isn't it? So not really up your street then if you're not really a fan of academics.
Yeah, I mean, obviously at the time then I didn't really know what I wanted to do in life. Obviously, I wanted to be a professional golfer. That was obviously every kid's dream as a junior. Yep. And I felt that was the best way of me doing it, going through that way and getting experiences through that.
Great stuff.
And obviously turned pro in, like I say, in 2007 and had a few good years on Challenge Tour, which then got me onto the European Tour, and then had a couple of very good seasons. And the game obviously went downhill a little bit through numerous reasons of changing my golf swing, lack of confidence, all that kind of stuff that comes with it. So
I was going to ask you that question later, so we'll come back to that.
Okay.
But you actually won the 2006 Asia Pacific Amateur Championship. Would you say that was like your sort of first real sort of win that, well, apart from obviously when you were 11, but like sort of status, say, yes, I'm here, I can go forward and forge the professional career?
Yeah, I mean, I'd obviously performed pretty well in some of the big events in England. I didn't obviously get a big win, like the kind of the Brabazon Trophy or the Lytham Trophy, anything like that. But
no,
I competed in those for a few years, really, where I was close to obviously getting a win in those. And then obviously that year was the Walker Cup year. Had a great start. Obviously went to Mission Hills in China with Gary Wolstenholme.
Right.
And managed to win that in a playoff, which put me in a good stead to obviously get a selection for the Walker Cup that following year. And then played pretty solid throughout the rest of the year. But didn't get the Walker Cup, frustratingly. I finished obviously.
Oh, did you not?
No, I basically ended up as first reserve for the Walker Cup, which when I look back at the players that played in that Walker Cup, it would have been obviously an amazing experience to be in that with the likes of obviously DJ, Ricky Fowler, Webb Simpson. I mean, it was an amazing American team, but it's the same on the European, the Great Britain side as well, with obviously Rory, Ollie Fisher. I mean, it was an amazing team, really. So
yeah, it's a shame you couldn't squeeze into that. Would have been a great experience, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it is. But obviously, you try and obviously use these things to make you a better player, and sometimes failure is not always a bad thing.
No, fuels the flame, doesn't it? So gets you going.
Yeah, obviously the frustrating thing is now with the Asia Pacific Championship, now they get obviously a start in the Masters.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, but you have to be from obviously Asia and now. So, but it would have been nice to, but maybe one day we'll be there.
Yeah, definitely. Well, your first, so you said you turned professional in 2007. I always like to ask the question of when to the professionals, when you turned pro, did you know you were going to turn pro, or did you already plan it, or was it just a decision that you just made there and then thought, right, now's the time to do it? Yeah,
I mean, I kind of 2 years before then, I'd kind of set myself a kind of a 10-year plan of where I wanted to be in 10 years' time. And I was kind of ahead of where I wanted to be at that point.
Oh, right, okay.
I always had the plan of playing in the 2009 Walker Cup. But obviously I put myself in a position where I had a chance of making it that year.
Yep.
I went to Q school that year and got through first stage, finishing, I think it was 5th in the first stage. And then got through to second stage, finished second, and then just obviously missed out on my European Tour card.
Yep.
I had a bad last 2 rounds, which obviously didn't get me through. But I had basically a challenge tour ranking for a full year. So
yeah.
At that point, it was a bit of a no-brainer, really. I had a full season to really give it a go to get onto the European Tour, and if I hadn't have done that, I might not have had that opportunity again. So
no, definitely.
That was basically my decision in the end. I had a full season to.
No, great stuff. So how did you find the first sort of year or 2 years on the Challenge Tour? What was your experiences on that? And obviously completely different to the amateur setup. Yeah,
I mean, my first pro event was at Leopard Creek, and obviously turn up on the range, and one of the people that you've kind of grew up watching all your life, really, Darren Clark's next to you hitting balls, and it's a bit surreal, but that's kind of where you always wanted to be, really.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit different because you're kind of there on your own. Then you do your own thing as the amateur game, but you've kind of gone from being a bit of a big fish in a small pond to a very small fish in a big pond. So we're always trying to learn in this game, and obviously I'm still trying to learn now. So
no, definitely. Was you able to lean on anybody in those sort of early years, like someone like Darren Clark, to get experience from them?
Yeah, I mean, I was very lucky. I'd signed with CM Sports Management, who had Ian Poulter under their wing.
Okay.
So I've obviously become quite good friends with him over the years we were out on tour, and obviously in that early period of me transitioning from amateur to pro. So obviously I'm very, very lucky to have him to talk to, and and obviously other players that I grew up playing in the amateur game as well.
Okay.
obviously we had roommates and all that stuff, so we always used to talk about what we're experiencing and try and push, because we're all very new to it. So
no, good stuff. Well, within 2 years, so 2009, you managed to get your first professional win at the Tusker Kenya Open on the Challenge Tour. And I guess, what was your feelings when you actually won that first professional tournament?
I guess a little bit of relief, I guess. Yep. The previous year, I had a great chance of finishing inside the top 15 to get my card.
Yep.
Leading the order of merit after, I think, May, I was in a good position and just had a very poor end to the season. So I had to obviously evaluate my goals and what areas I need to work on to get me into that next stage of winning golf tournaments and getting my card.
Yep.
So obviously I went to America that winter, worked really hard on my game, areas that I felt my game was weak, and then come out and really hit the ground running, and played nicely in the first round, and then had a great second round, and then just really carried on from there, really staying in the moment and doing my processes. And
great stuff.
To come at the end of the week with a win was obviously a great start to the season, which obviously in the end got me my card for.
Well, I was about to ask, was that win pivotal for you getting your actual full European Tour card? Yeah,
I think obviously you start to believe within yourself that you are good enough to be out here and competing. And I had some good. I think around 5 other top 5s that year. Couple of seconds, which obviously got me into getting my card for the next year. So that was it was nice.
No, great stuff. How did you celebrate that first ever win?
I think I had a few beers in the clubhouse afterwards, obviously with the other guys.
Yeah.
And then our flight home got cancelled.
All right.
So we had to stay in Nairobi for another night. So I always remember that one. So and then a few years later, the same thing happened again. The flight got cancelled on the way home, so we had to stay out there. So.
Up to then, obviously, you've had a great little career there, moving up the amateur ranks and then finally getting a European Tour card. It then led for you to actually appear in 4 major championships, 2008, 2011, 2015 at the Open, and then you actually managed to get onto the 2010 US Open as well. Obviously, 2011, you actually finished tied 38th at Royal St. George's. But what was those experiences like, playing in the majors and then playing against top players in America as well?
The first major, obviously Birkdale, was probably the most nervous I've ever been on the golf course, and
really?
that was just in the practice round.
Okay.
So I got through the qualifying at Southport and Ainsdale, and then we basically went and looked at the golf course to obviously get the atmosphere, what it's going to be like and all that stuff. And then a couple of weeks later, obviously we went up there, stood on the first tee in the practice round, and I've never been so nervous in all my life. It was just, I don't know, overwhelming, anxiety. I don't know what it was. I've kind of made it kind of thing. I don't really know.
Yeah.
All those emotions on that first tee. My caddy said, it's a 2-iron. I'm like, no, just give me the driver. Give me the biggest club there is. So managed to make contact. And then I was fine the rest of the week. It was you kind of go into Water Park, do all the things that you can do, and then got a horrendous draw. Was out in the midst of when it was all pouring down with rain, and didn't get the best of draws, but it was a great experience. I should have really made the cut, but I had a couple of bad breaks, plugged in bunkers and all that stuff. But I think that really pushed me on for the next year. It's the same, obviously, when I qualified for the US Open in 2010. I hadn't had a great start to the year. Was kind of outside of the 110 bracket to keep your card. Qualified for obviously that in June, and then from then on in, I had obviously a great end to the season with top 10s, losing in a playoff in Czech Republic. And it was kind of the turning point, really. I learned so much from that week on managing my game to get around the golf course in the lowest amount of shots. Okay, great.
During those sort of rounds, were you paired with anyone exciting that you could recall?
So I played with Terry Pilkadaris in the first round at US Open. I can't remember the other guy's name. But even then, I mean, had a good chance of making the cut there. Had a poor last 6 holes.
Yep.
And then obviously the following year I qualified for St George's and obviously had a good week there.
Yeah.
It could have obviously I feel been better if I had a lower first 2 rounds because the third round was just horrendous. Basically,
right, okay.
I was literally out when it was 40-mile-an-hour winds, pouring down with rain, and then we're coming down the 18th, and Darren Clark's just about to tee off. So,
right, okay. So you've not had much luck then when it comes to the weather and major tournaments.
No, but then that's just the luck of the draw, really. I mean, from the Open, you can have a tee off at 6:30 in the morning or 4:10 in the afternoon. So
yeah, true.
There's a lot can change on links golf course in that time frame.
Yeah, I've not played much links golf, so I think I need to up my game this year when we're allowed to go out and play. Get on those links and play a bit more.
Yeah, definitely.
Good stuff. So between 2015 and 2019, can you just describe the journey that you had? Because I think, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but you were flipping back and forth to the Challenge Tour and the European Tour. So yeah, I just want to sort of understand what your thoughts were during that time, and what sort of, like you said, you had frustrations in your game, you changed the swing. So yeah, did that all lead to you having a kind of up and down sort of 4 years?
I guess it was more kind of 7 years, really. From 2012, I changed manufacturers, started using Callaway.
Okay.
So that was a little bit different. We're still working with the same coach, David Ledbetter. But I basically changed my golf swing a little bit, and I just lost my way a little bit in the plan on what I was trying to actually do. Going to the driving range, almost trying to find something rather than working towards something.
Right, okay.
There was times I'd go to the range and I'd think, well, what am I going to work on today? Almost lost the whole plan of everything. And then the scores were showing that I was hitting the ball basically off the planet.
Okay.
And then I kind of had to reassess kind of the winter of 2014, early 2015, when I basically didn't have any status at all.
Right, okay.
I'd lost my Challenge Tour status. I had no status on the Euro Pro. Could literally do nothing that winter.
Right.
So I had to kind of reevaluate what am I going to do now. So I basically put it back to basics and changed coach. And then really worked hard that winter, and then was asking obviously for invites on the Challenge Tour. Was lucky enough to get a few of those. Okay. Which then I performed well in, which then obviously snowballed effect and managed to get my card back in 2016 year. And was probably playing some of the best golf I've played for a long time.
Right, okay.
And then it was obviously a frustrating year in 2016 on the tour. Lost my card. Just through not performing really. That was playing okay, but just not scoring that well really. So missed a lot of cuts by kind of 1-2 shots, which can be the difference to having a great weekend and securing your card and then losing out. And then 2017 had an okay-ish year on the Challenge Tour. And then 2018 had a better year, managed to keep my Challenge Tour card, but with kind of a low ranking as such. Right, okay. And then 2019 had a great start to the year, worked really hard over the winter, and then decided to break my wrist. So. Well,
yeah, I was coming to that. So I saw that you had a wrist injury. I didn't realise you actually broke your wrist. How did you manage to do that?
Yeah, double fracture. Indoor football, playing with mates on a Monday night. Decided to sprint for a ball into the corner, and one of my mates basically shoulder barged me, and obviously the wall didn't move. So both hands out, and obviously I've done soft tissue damage in my left and double fracture in my right. So
wow, okay.
After a frustrating start really to the year, where I'd obviously had a 7th start. Finished 7th in the Turkish Airlines Challenge Tour event. Mm-hmm. yeah, it was obviously a bit frustrating, really, because my game was in good shape to go and perform. So
yeah, definitely. How long did that put you out for then? Obviously, you had to have surgery, I'm guessing, to set it back again.
I was lucky; I didn't have to have surgery.
No, it was great.
It was kind of borderline whether I had or not.
Okay.
They were obviously worried that I might have to have it.
Yep.
But I had to just be careful, really.
Okay.
So almost sleeping with a pillow and just being really careful on not trying to obviously bang it and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
Luckily, it obviously started to heal back itself without any plates or anything. And that was maybe for, I guess, a good 5-6 months, really, of it being in a cast. And then as soon as I come out of the cast, it was kind of rehab, lifting baked bean cans and Lucozade bottles and all that stuff to try and, I mean, it felt like I'd basically got a new arm, really, and forgot how to use it.
Wow.
Had no flexibility in it, no mobility, no strength at all in my arm. It just basically all, so, and you almost wanting it the next day to be right, but it never really is. So it's kind of a bit of a waiting game, but you have to do all the processes to get back. So
yeah, definitely.
Touch wood now, I'm okay and having no pain at all. So it's all good.
Well, again, it was going to be one of my questions. Yeah, do you suffer from any pain now? Because obviously, I think, what was it, Simon Dyson, obviously he injured his wrist. I don't think he broke it, but he did something to his tendons, and that kind of put him out of the game.
There's obviously a few players that have really struggled with wrist injuries, because it is you need your wrists. I mean, there's no too much about that, really. And obviously, if you're getting pain when you're hitting the ball, because it is a contact sport at the end of the day when you're hitting the ground.
Yeah.
You do need some strength in there. So I was very lucky to work with my strength conditioning coach, physio as well, who's part of the GB Olympic team, who does the physio for the Challenge Tour. So I obviously was seeing him quite a bit and getting all the right advice, really, to get back as quickly as I can.
Yeah, definitely.
But just obviously doing all the foundations and making sure everything's ticking all the boxes right, rather than trying to jump through hoops and
rush it.
Yeah, because I kind of felt I had a bit of went backwards a little bit around Christmas that year. I was getting a little bit of pain in the area because I basically started hitting a few balls because I said I could hit a few.
Right. Okay.
So whether that knocked me back a few weeks or whatever it was. So, but come March time, it was fine last year.
Yeah.
And then obviously we locked down for 3 months. So.
So I was about to say, you finally got your arm back and ready, you're hitting golf balls again, and then March comes along and smacks you in the face and says, "Not today, Gary." Yeah.
So it almost felt like a bit of training for it, to be honest. I mean, obviously being off for 9 months and then another 3 months, I mean, it's obviously not going to hurt. So
no.
I was kind of used to it, really. So.
Now, One Pod Life is brought to you in partnership with Energy Golf, the leading golf development platform. They are committed to providing a service that allows you to reach your maximum potential by improving your mindset, creating physical longevity, and funding your golf career. What they've done is take professional tour team experience and brought it to you through their platform so you can have your very own tour team in your pocket. Energy Golf offers the ability to learn from leading professionals in the fields of fitness, nutrition, breathing, caddying, psychology, business, as well as proven tour winners and many more. There are also courses based around the mental aspects of golf, such as mental toughness, emotional control, and self-esteem. Visit energy.com to learn more, and to claim your exclusive 1 month free trial, simply send an email with the subject OnePodLife to info@energy.com and enjoy. Now let's get back to the podcast. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but you've now got your Challenge Tour status back. And you're working up obviously towards getting back on tour once the doors open again. And obviously during these lockdowns, what is it you've been working on, and how you've been sort of keeping and staying sharp with your game?
Yeah, so obviously I've got a medical exemption for next year, so I should get a few starts from that, which will be nice. Obviously it'd be nice to know when to start playing golf tournaments. That'll be the good thing to look forward to. So obviously in lockdown now, been working with my strength conditioning coach, been doing workouts every day for areas that I need to work on within my body, and then basically just doing as much as I can at home. So got my putting mat out in the living room, been doing some reps on there.
Yep.
And then the last couple of weeks, I haven't done a great deal on the golf swing since we've locked down. I've got a net in the garden that obviously I use, but I'm not going to go out there looking like Michelin Man with
no, of course not.
Good at all. So, so probably the next week or so, when hopefully the weather gets a little bit better, a little bit warmer, I'll go and hit a few balls in the net in the garden, and start a plan on where my golf swing is, what I need to work on. But the last time I've done that, hitting balls in the net in the last lockdown, I started hitting snap hooks everywhere. So,
did you?
It's quite hard. You feel like you're swinging it great in the net, and you're hitting the same spot in the net all the time, but the minute you go on the golf course, it's a little bit different.
Yeah, 100%. No, great stuff. Well, Gary, that's a great review of your career so far. And like you said, it's not over yet. You're back on tour again, and I'm pretty sure you're back on that European tour as soon as you can, back where you belong, because you've obviously got the talent and the skills to be there. So hopefully you'll be there again. Yeah,
hopefully. Obviously this year is going to be a little bit different with knowing how many golf tournaments I'm going to get into.
Yep.
But obviously the plan this year or next year will obviously be back to try and get back out onto the tour.
Definitely.
Obviously, I'm not getting any younger, so
aren't we all? Anyway.
Yeah.
No, great stuff.
It's a year that I want to obviously achieve big things this year, and hopefully I've got a decent team in place now, which I feel comfortable where I am. So. Having a year out's maybe not been a bad thing, really. I haven't got any scars in my head from bad golf shots.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, no, good stuff. Okay, well, we'll move on to another section of the podcast where, again, this is why I ask all of the pros to come on actually and talk to us. So I like to learn about their career, lessons they've learned throughout the time as well, and then also to find out if you could give any aspiring golfer, someone who's looking at, like, maybe they're playing a 5 handicap or something, who's looking to try and become a professional golfer, if you could give them 3 tips from your experience that you've had so far, what would those tips be?
I think hard work is definitely one of them.
Yep.
Having a team in place,
yep,
that's going to be there for you when the good times are there, because there will be obviously some of those, but obviously there will be a lot of bad times as well. You definitely have a lot more bad than good in this game at times. And then having a plan in place.
Okay.
Working on areas that you feel your game is weak. I don't think you can work hard enough on your 120 yards and in, whether that's pitching, chipping, bunker play, even putting, because that is pretty much half of your shots you've got on the golf course.
Definitely.
You only hit 18 tee shots at the end of the day, and 18 second shots if they're all par 4s or par 5s.
Yep.
So it's a big part of the game. So I think if you drive the ball well, though, I think it does help. But that short game is a big thing.
No, great stuff. Thanks for those. Okay, final 2 questions, then I'll let you go. One of them is, when you're preparing for a tournament, what's the one thing that you must do to ensure you play well? And then is there any superstitions that you have before a tournament?
I just feel like I do well. I think my preparation is good. I always feel like I do the same preparation every time. My pre-shot routines, I feel they're a big part of my game when I'm in kind of pressure situations.
Yep.
You always try and emulate something that's happened in the past that's gone well.
Yep.
Or a tee shot that you've liked, or all that kind of stuff. You're always trying to reminisce on those things from the past. For superstitions, I used to only have 7 tee pegs in my pocket.
Okay.
And then I go around with 10 golf balls as well. I always have 10 balls in my bag. I don't know why. People say sometimes, why don't you have more or less or whatever it is? And I kind of say, well, if you lose more than 10 golf balls, then you might as well walk in. So,
well, yeah, good point. And I guess it gives you that pressure that, I've only got 10 balls in my bag. So if you've lost 5 already, right, I've only got 5 left. I better get my game back on.
Yeah, I think I'm in the wrong spot if I'm losing 5 golf balls around. But I think it's something I've always done. Really, had 10 balls in my bag, and
yeah,
can't remember that. I have the same ball marker all the time.
Okay.
As well, but apart from that, no real superstitions really. So
okay, fair enough. And then my last question is, obviously from all your time of playing on the European Tour, Challenge Tour, playing at the Opens and US Open, if you could pick one, who would be the best golfer you've ever played with?
Best golfer I've played with. Ball striking wise would probably be Sergio.
Okay.
I played with him in Germany in 2011, I think it was.
Right.
Or 2012. And it was the best ball striking performance I've ever seen. I mean, it's the easiest 8 under par. I mean, it could have been 11, 12 under par.
Right.
So for ball striking, it's definitely Sergio.
Okay. Off the tee then?
Westwood.
Yeah.
No doubt, yeah.
Great stuff.
I played with him the week before, obviously went to world number 1 in 2010. So,
nice.
yes, obviously it was nice to play with him the last round before we went to world number 1 on Monday morning.
Yeah, but at least you can say you played with the world number 1.
Yeah.
Not a bad thing to say, is it? No, great stuff. Well, Gary, thank you for your time coming on and giving us a detailed explanation of your life and what you've been doing so far to date. Again, like you said, it's not the end. You can go forward, and obviously 2021 tours will be a big year. So fingers crossed, we'll see you on the top of the leaderboard and then on the European Tour one day.
Hopefully. Thanks for having me, Lloyd.
So a big thank you there to Gary for coming on the podcast and giving us an outline on his career and how he overcome that pretty bad wrist injury that he had. Not many people could probably come back from that, but obviously Gary's mental attitude and the way he looks at the game and how he wants to forge on and build a better career has really helped him there. So congratulations, Gary, and look forward to, like I said, seeing you out there again soon. Now, thank you again, guys, for listening to another episode of One Pod Life. If you like that one, make sure you share it over on Instagram, maybe in a little story for me. And look forward to the next episode. So until then, speak to you soon.